teeth in order to come to some sort of conclusion. So you go into a field.
Kenneth Williams, why have you chance?
Rubbish, I mean, standing around looking at a load of horses' teeth. I can find nothing to do with my time. We're going to sit here listening to all this
Well,
rubbish.
Kenneth, you're obviously trying to bluff your way in again, but I'm afraid
Well,
it was not deviating from the subject of age. So, Clement Freud, I disagree with the challenge. You gain another point, and there are 14 seconds left for age, starting now.
Frogs can tell age very simply by squawking and the number of times they open their mouth.
Derek, number why have you challenged? Yes, again. And so Derek gains another point, and there are 8 seconds left for age, starting now.
When I was a very young boy, I used to look forward to old age, but now that I'm getting increasingly elderly, it fills me with despair. Sometimes I go home at night.
That despairing note brought Derek Nimmer another point as he was speaking when the whistle went, and he has a lead of 1 at the end of that round over Clement Freud, who are way out in front of Joan Turner and Kenneth Williams. Joan Turner, your turn to begin. The subject is luck. 60 seconds starting now.
Luck is a 4-letter word, but it's something everyone hopes for. It's a pagan superstition. It's simply God's blessing, and that's what we believe in. We don't believe in superstition in my church. I'm being quite serious now about this. Everyone hopes to win the pools, and everyone has certain superstitions, like you mustn't put shoes on the table. I don't know whether any of you have heard that one, have you? Superstition of putting shoes on the table. No, if you put shoes on the table, it's supposed to be unlucky. Of course, it's only unlucky because it's a horrible smell if you have shoes on the table when you're eating your lunch. Of course there isn't. Have you challenged me? Oh, and...
No. Oh, sorry, the challenge has been taken back. Carry on.
If you, another superstition, which is also to do with luck, is that if you walk under a ladder, the only reason people don't like it is because you might get a pot of paint on your head, you see. And, of course, there's a superstition about the devil. If you spill the salt, you throw the salt over your left shoulder to send the devil away, you see.
You've repeated yourself.
Say at the end of that round, Joan Turner started with the subject of luck, and in spite of repeating herself incessantly and hesitating repeatedly and deviating incessantly, and in spite of being challenged 4 times, which I completely ignored, she kept going for well over 60 seconds. In fact, the watch stopped at one point, we started again. And I think it was magnificent, because she's never played the game. Obviously, she still hasn't very much idea of how the game should be played. In spite of that, we enjoyed it, Joe. That's the important thing. So, give her... how many points should we give her for that? Give her 2, yes, give her 2.
Thank you very much.
You've leapt, literally, from 4th place to the 3rd place.
Thank you very much. I suppose it's as far as
still
I can.
miles behind this week's winner, Derek Nimmer. That's all we have time for. We do hope you've enjoyed this particular edition of Just a Minute, and from all of us here, goodbye.
Chairman of Just a Minute was Nicholas Butts. The programme was devised by Ian Mester and produced by Simon Brent. and Liz Fraser in just a minute. And as the minute waltz fades away, here to tell you about it is our chairman, Nicholas Parsons.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed, and welcome once again to Just a Minute. And somebody's whistling. Derek Nimmo, will you please keep quiet? Derek, why are you whistling before we've even started?
It's a little seasonal whistling.
All right, we're all trying to get into the festive spirit. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, and also it's my pleasure to welcome Liz Fraser. For the first time, she's going to try and do battle with these three clever protagonists of the game and see what she can do for the Distaff side. Once again, I'm going to ask them all to speak if they can for 60 seconds on some subject, without hesitation, without repetition, and without deviating from the subject. Of course, according to how well they do it when they're challenged, they will gain points or give them away. Clement Freud, will you begin this week, please? The subject, very seasonal, stuffing your Christmas bird. And you talk about that subject for 60 seconds, starting now.
Any feathered friend which is afloat at this time of year may be called a Christmas bird. And if you're about to stuff one, I think you should take great care not to choose a bird that is too small, like a sparrow or a dove. In fact, a turkey, a chicken, a goose would be ideal animals for this sort of treatment. I feel that it is ignominious to put your hands inside such pillows, and prefer personally to get my stuffing done on the outside, usually in a roasting tray, keeping such implements as I might use in my culinary pursuits cleaner and less infected than they would otherwise be. But there are many.
Daring him, are you challenged? Why?
My hesitation.
No. I'm keeping it with Clement Freud. So he gains a point because I disagree with the challenge. 6 seconds left. Stuffing your Christmas bird, Clement. Now.
Some people think that bird being a synonym.
For those of you who may be fairly new to the game, when the whistle goes, it tells us that 60 seconds is up, and whoever is speaking at that moment gains an extra point. On this occasion, it was Clement Freud, who now has a commanding lead of 2 over everybody else, because nobody else has yet scored. And Derek, it's your turn to begin. The subject is stocking fillers. Can you talk to us? That's a dirty laugh in the audience, wasn't it? Anyway, Derek, stocking fillers, 60 seconds, starting now.
Responding to the dirty laugh in the audience, I would say that my favourite stocking filler is long limbs encased in a pair of these same stockings that we are talking about. On the other hand, there is a dear man who lives in
Clement Freud, why have you challenged?
He's talking about legs and suddenly says on the other hand.
Give Clement Freud an extra point for a clever challenge, but Derek wasn't deviating from the subject on the card. Stocking fillers, Derek, you'll keep the subject and continue, and there are 42 seconds left, starting now.
In Snowland lives a charming old gentleman with a white beard that every boy and girl knows.
I didn't know that.
Liz Fraser, you challenged.
Yes, I didn't know that.
No. Well, I'm sorry that you don't know it, Liz, and maybe after the show I can explain to you all about Father Christmas. You see, he wasn't actually deviating from the subject, he was keeping going. The fact that you didn't know about it, unlike everybody else, it's very sad. But it means that Derek still keeps the subject, and he gets a point, of course, and there are 35 seconds left. Stocking fillers starting now.
Santa Claus, or Father Christmas, as Nicholas Parsons would say, keeps his stocking fillers in a large sack, which he keeps on the back of his sleigh.
Kenneth Williams is challenged.
Word keep, code twice.
Yes, that is right. You did say keep twice. Yes, you did. It's rather difficult. Small words, not to repeat them occasionally. Kenneth, I agree with your challenge, so you've gained a point, and you have 27 seconds for stocking fillers starting now.
Little cuddly bunnies made of cotton wool and harmless material like that, and marzipans, chocolates, and little wafers like this.
Madam, you challenged.
You said little twice.
Yes, I'm afraid you did. And she was listening terribly well, got in very sharply there, and because you see, if you press your buzzer first, it eliminates all the other buttons.
Quite right. I don't want to eliminate anybody else's buzzer.
No. So, Liz, you've gained a point, and you have 15 seconds now to take over the subject of stocking fillers, starting now.
One of the advantages of growing older and bigger is that one's stockings enlarge with age, which means that one can get more fillings into one's hosiery.
There was a definite hesitation, I'm afraid, Liz. Derek, you gain a point. I agree with the challenge. So there are 3 seconds left now for you to take over stocking fillers, starting
When I wake up on Christmas morning, I find the lovely orange right at the bottom next to a...
Kenneth Williams, why don't you check?
Christmas, you said it before.
You did say Christmas before. You used Father Christmas before, and now you've said Christmas. So
Absolutely right. Well, listen.
Occasionally they can't think of any other way to argue their way back to it, so they come magnanimous. Kenneth listened well. He got in just with 3/4 of a second to go on stocking fillers. Kenneth, starting now.
Silver bells!
Kenneth Williams was speaking them when the whistle went, so he gains that extra point, and to use his phrase, he has leapt into the lead.
Well, thank goodness, my record has been abysmal over the last few weeks. Abysmal.
But you leapt
the only way I can describe it. It's been abysmal. I've seen no load of encouragement, and we all need a bit of ego massage.
You're behaving in an abysmal way. Yes, but you've leapt into the lead alongside Clement Freud. It's not quite enough to... And Liz Fraser, it's your turn to begin. So, the subject is, still on the Christmas theme, I'm glad to say, things I've found in crackers. And as a little cracker yourself, Liz, will you talk for 60 seconds on that subject, starting now?
One of the things that I found in crackers was my husband. It happened like this. I had an invitation some years ago to attend a housewarming party by a friend, and I agreed and accepted with alacrity, and bejewelled and bedecked, I arrived at her abode, and I had the feeling that something very exciting was going to happen, and I looked around the rooms to see if there was some sort of nice man that I could perhaps be attached to. A tall, dark stranger approached me and asked me where the loo was. I didn't know, so I directed him to the hostess who was standing near me at the time, and another man approached me, and we found that we had a great deal in common. For instance, we both enjoyed Derek Nimmo's feet, Clement Freud's cooking, Kenneth Williams' wit, and Nicholas Parsons' milk. And he then proposed to me. I must say that the house's name was Crackers.
Liz Fraser has joined us for the first time. She started with the subject, and she managed to keep it right through the end, so she gets a bonus point for speaking for 60 seconds. Well done, Liz. Clement, your turn to begin. The subject is the fairy on the top of the Christmas tree. Listeners, was occasioned by the fact that Clement Freud looked very rapidly at every member of the team here to decide which one he thought he should apply this to. And he finished up with Liz Fraser. So the subject is the fairy on the top of the Christmas tree. Clement Freud, 60 seconds, starting now.
Is a very long way up the top of the Christmas tree, as opposed to the fairy lower down on the same piece of...
Liz Fraser.
I think hesitation.
You think, and I think, and so you gain a point, Liz, and you take over the subject of the fairy on the top of the Christmas tree. 50 seconds left, starting now.
There are no fairies at the top of our Christmas tree because I knew I was going to talk.
Kenneth Williams, which I'm afraid.
Yes, I'm afraid I didn't know what I was going to say.
My darling, I don't like to
Weren't you were being absolutely accurate. So, Kenneth, you get a point. You take over the subject. There are 45 seconds left. The fairy on the top of the Christmas tree, starting now.
She is generally a rather delicate little creature with tinsel and porcelain and spice-like features, and everyone says that she is presiding over this festive gathering and spreading light and joy from the top of the perishing Christmas tree. It is indeed, of course, it is in the process of decay, as you all know, when you come to clear up those dreadful needles that get everywhere. I once sat on them and had the benefit of falling trouble afterwards, but only very greasy emollient eased my anguish.
Challenge. Right.
Well, he's talking about something really rather nasty, which has got nothing to do with the fairy. It was way up on the top of the tree.
Yes, and there are 8 seconds left, Derek, for the fairy on the top of the Christmas tree, starting now.
When I was a small boy, I used to sing a lovely song, which was "Every little boy like to see a fairy."
Clement Freud, why do you challenge?
Repetition.
What?
When I was a small boy.
Oh, that's right, yes. Clement, you gain the subject, and there are 3 seconds left. The fairy on the top of the Christmas tree, starting now.
Her name is Gladys, and she had the most terrible
Clement Freud then gained the extra point for speaking when the whistle went. I've never heard of a fairy called Gladys. Anyway, Gladys got you an extra point, an extra laugh, and you're now equal in the lead with Kenneth Williams.
Oh, an honor for you, Clement.
Derek Braemar, your turn to begin. The subject, mistletoe. Can you talk to us about that kissable subject for 60 seconds, starting now?
Mistletoe is a rather nasty parasitic creature that grows round fruit trees, apples and pears in particular. It's been used from the ancient times to depict something which is really rather nasty, so we won't talk about that. We'll talk about its modern usage, which is to kiss young ladies beneath. And there's nothing I like more, in fact, than singing, "Here we are, beneath the mistletoe, no young..."
This phrase, why we challenge?
Beneath twice.
2 beneaths give you an extra point, another point, and you take over the subject of mistletoe, and there are 36 seconds left, starting now.
I always thought that it would be the most romantic thing to be kissed underneath the mistletoe, and every year I would stand strategically placed under this
Derek, Derek, I agree with the challenge of hesitation. You get another point, and there are 12 seconds left. Mistletoe starting now.
Once I spent Yuletide south of the equator, and there they had plastic mistletoe. I've nothing more obscene have I ever seen. And if you...
Liz Fraser, why do we challenge?
Seen, a verb
No,
twice.
you said obscene. I've seen.
Oh, I do beg your
It was
pardon.
well listened, but not correct. So Derek gets another point, and there are 3 seconds left for mistletoe. Derek starting now.
Pucker up your lips, babe. I'm coming in on the down.
Kenneth, party games. Can you tell us something about party games? 60 seconds to do it, starting now.
I think it was probably expressed most beautifully by Abbott Gascoigne when he wrote, "Here's a pencil and pad, you won't find it bad. These are games that we all of us know. Toss them on as you write them and ad infinitum. It's just party games. Make a good evening go." And even as he uttered those words to me for the first time, a tear began to form in my eye and dropped